A soft blue light blinked on the edge of a dark control room. A Tulari technician, a thin alien with glowing green eyes, leaned forward. His hand shook as he pressed the screen. A message played, cracked and broken, filled with fear. "We need help. They are everywhere. Our cities are falling. Please," someone answer. The technician ran through the long halls of the High Council Tower. He pushed open the chamber doors, where the leaders of the Tulari Federation sat in silence. Their faces were pale. They had seen many battles, but this was different. This enemy left nothing behind. Councillor Veli stood. Her voice was calm, but everyone could feel the weight in her words. "We have sent messages to every known race. All ignored us, or said they could not help." Councillor Lauren, older and tired, asked, "Is there any hope left?" The technician stepped forward. One signal was picked up by an unknown system. No reply yet, but the message was received. The chamber went quiet. Far away, on a distant planet covered in snow and mountains, a small base rested under the earth. It had no lights, no movement, no life. Deep inside, machines suddenly came to life. Red lights blinked. Cold air blew through the halls, and inside the frozen chambers, something stirred. Captain Jack Morris opened his eyes. Ice cracked around him as the cryo chamber hissed open. He sat up, coughing. Next to him, Lieutenant Claire Benson stepped out of her own chamber. Her hands were shaking, but her eyes were sharp. "How long were we out?" Jack asked. "Don't know," Claire said, "but the call woke us. Must be real bad." A voice came from the wall speakers. Rough, old, and full of static. "This is Base Command. You have been reactivated. Mission: respond to distress call from Tulari Federation. Enemy unknown. Full combat readiness required." Jack stretched his arms and looked around. Dust covered everything. Weapons were old, but still strong. Suits were worn, but still fit. They had been forgotten by the world above, but they were not weak. They were built for war. "Get the team up," Jack said. One by one, the rest of the team woke. Danny Green, quiet and strong. Maria Lawson, sharp-eyed and fast. Cal Brooks, the tech. All of them trained to survive where others could not. The Silent Storm, their ship, stood ready. Black, small, and deadly. It rose from the mountain like a ghost and flew into space. In the Tulare system, fear had spread. Cities burned. Skies turned red. People ran, but nowhere was safe. The enemy moved without sound, without mercy. The Tulari called them the Swarm. No one had seen their true form. They came from the dark, destroyed, and vanished. When the Silent Storm arrived, the Tulari did not cheer. They had hoped for fleets, for powerful ships and armies. Instead, they saw one small ship. From it, only a handful of humans stepped out. Tulari Commander Venlith met them. He was tall, with silver skin and tired eyes. He looked at Jack and frowned. "This is your help? One team?" Jack looked back without smiling. "You called." "We came," Claire added. "Show us where they hit first. We need to see the field." Venlith hesitated, then nodded. He led them to a ruined city. Buildings were broken. Bodies were gone. There was no sign of battle, only silence. Danny knelt down, touched the ground, and picked up a thin black dust. "Ash," he said. "They burn everything." Jack looked at the horizon. Dark clouds rolled in, but not from the sky. They moved from the ground like a wave. "They're coming," Claire whispered. Jack turned to Venlith. "You asked for help. Now step back. This is what we do." The humans stood side by side, weapons in hand, eyes steady. The swarm had no idea what was waiting. In the shadows of a broken world, the Deathworlders had returned. The city of Turok was quiet. Broken walls, shattered glass, and twisted steel covered the streets. Birds no longer sang. The sky was gray. In the middle of the ruins, the humans stood like statues. Captain Jack Morris held a small device in his hand. It blinked once, then stayed dark. "They were here," he said. "They left fast." Lieutenant Claire Benson scanned the area with sharp eyes. "They don't fight for territory. They hit, destroy, and vanish." Tulari Commander Venlith watched in silence. He had seen war before, but nothing like this. The humans did not speak much. They moved with purpose. They studied the ground, the buildings, even the air. It was clear they were not here to make friends. They were here to stop something. Maria Lawson walked through the remains of a school. Her boots crunched on the ash. She saw small chairs, broken toys, and one metal ball. She picked it up and placed it on a wall. Then she turned away. "They kill everything," she said. "Not even children are safe." Jack looked at her. "We make sure it ends here." The team returned to their ship. Inside the silent storm, Cal Brooks worked fast. His hands moved over screens and buttons. The ship was old, but Cal made it work like new. "I found a trail," Cal said. "Not much, but it leads to the southern ridge." "Move fast," Jack ordered. They could be there already. The ship lifted into the sky. Below them, the ruins of Turok faded into smoke. Ahead, a long dark line stretched across the land. The ridge. When they landed, the wind was cold. The ridge was rocky and steep. Small holes dotted the ground. Danny Green dropped to one knee and checked the soil. "They burrow," he said. "Come up at night." Claire looked at the sky. The sun was low. "We don't have long. Set traps. Get ready." The team moved fast. Wires stretched between rocks, mines hidden under dust. Cal placed a sensor in the middle of the ridge. "If they come, we'll know," he said. Night fell. The team waited in silence, weapons ready, eyes sharp. Then the ground moved. First a small shake, then a rumble. Black shapes crawled out of the holes. Thin legs, wide eyes, sharp claws. The Carnith swarm. Maria fired first. One blast. One body dropped. Then the air filled with fire and screams. Jack shouted, "Hold the line, no one moves." The Carnith moved fast, but the trap slowed them. Mines exploded. Fire lit the ridge. Claire moved between rocks, shooting, reloading, moving again. "They're testing us," she said. "Not full force yet." A loud hiss came from the hill. A larger Carnith appeared. Bigger, faster, armored. Danny ran forward, tossed a charge under its legs, and dove away. The blast threw dust and pieces into the air. "We got a big one," Danny said, breathing hard. Tulari soldiers, watching from a distance, were frozen. They had never seen a fight like this. The humans were outnumbered, but they did not fall back. They fought with cold skill. Benlith turned to his second. "This is what they do. They're not like us. They do not fear death." An hour passed. The swarm pulled back. Silence returned. Bodies of the Carnith lay across the ridge. Black blood stained the rocks. Jack stood and lowered his weapon. "We hit them hard. They'll think twice." Claire looked over the battlefield, but they will return. Bigger, stronger. Jack nodded. "Then so will we." The next day, the Tulari Council received a full report. They were shocked. It's not just by the battle, but by the way the humans fought. With no fear, no mercy. Counselor Veli said, "We asked for help. We did not know who would come." Loren added, "They came from the shadows, and now they fight for us." Venlith stood before them. "We must stand with them, learn from them, fight beside them, or we will fall." And far away, deep in the darkness, the Carnith Queen opened her eyes. Her children were dying. Her nest was threatened. She screamed, and the hive woke. War was not over. It had only just begun. The wind blew across the ridge, carrying the smell of smoke and death. Jack stood alone, watching the horizon. His face was still, but his mind was moving fast. Behind him, Claire checked her rifle and wiped blood from her arm. "They pulled back too soon," she said. "They were testing us," Jack replied. "Next time they come in full." In the center of the camp, Cal Brooks sat with wires and metal spread around him. He worked fast, building small devices from broken parts. A Tulari officer stood nearby watching. "What are you making?" the officer asked. "Movement sensors," Cal said. "They'll help us see them coming before they get too close." "But these parts are useless." "Not to us," Cal said with a grin. "On Earth, we build from trash. It's how we stay alive." Tulari Commander Venlith walked into the camp. They watched the humans repair, plan, and train. Their wounds were fresh, their eyes tired, but their hands did not stop. "You do not rest?" asked Jack. "We rest when it's over," Jack said. "Right now we fight." Maria Lawson and Danny Green were setting traps again. They used wires, small bombs, and sharpened metal. Maria pointed to a line of rocks. Set the charges there. When they cross, we blow it. Got it, Danny said. The Tulari soldiers watched closely. They had never seen traps like these. They had never fought this way. Their own weapons had failed to stop the swarm. Now they listened and learned. In the evening, Claire stood with a group of young Tulari cadets. She drew lines in the dirt showing how the swarm moved, how they could be fooled. They follow smell and heat, she said. They don't see like us. Use that. Make noise here. Hit from there. One cadet, Senna, asked. But we are not strong like you. How can we fight? Claire looked at her. You don't need to be strong. Just smart. We win by outthinking them. Later that night, the humans gathered around a small fire. Jack looked at each of them. They will hit us again. Harder. Maybe tonight. Maybe tomorrow. But we hold. We don't run. Maria nodded. We stand. We protect. Danny smiled, and we hit back twice as hard. The wind grew colder. Clouds covered the moon. Deep below the ground, the Karnath swarm moved. They followed the call of their queen. Her voice was sharp and angry. Her children had failed. Now, she would send the hunters. Just before dawn, the sensors lit up. Cal shouted, "They're coming!" Jack jumped up. Positions now. The team spread out. The Tulari soldiers joined them. Some still shook with fear, but they stood beside the humans. From the darkness, the swarm came. Hundreds of black bodies poured over the ridge. Their eyes glowed. Their claws tore into the ground. Traps exploded. Fire lit the field. The first wave fell, but more came. Jack fired shot after shot. Beside him, Venlith used a Tulari spear, cutting down anything that got close. Claire moved fast, shooting from behind rocks, pulling others to safety. Danny ran through the fight, dropping charges and setting flames. Maria covered him, never missing a shot. The cadet Senna stood with Claire. Her hands shook, but she held her weapon steady. "Aim for the neck," Claire shouted. "Drop them fast," Senna fired. One swarm dropped, then another. "Got it," Claire said. "Keep going." Hours passed. The ground was covered in bodies. The swarm pulled back again. Jack leaned against a wall, breathing heavy. We held. Venlith looked at him. "Because of you." Jack shook his head. "Because we fought together." The Tulari had changed. They no longer waited in fear. They moved with purpose. They followed orders. They learned. Tulari Counselor Veli sent a message across the stars. "The Deathworlders fight with us. We are not alone." But in the black of space, the Queen watched, and her swarm had failed twice. Her mind reached out farther, calling new creatures. Stronger, faster. She would not lose again. And when she came, she would come with fury. The sky above the Tulari plains turned red as the sun dropped behind the hills. The wind carried the smell of burnt metal and blood. The ground was black from fire. Silence covered the camp like a heavy blanket. Inside a small building, Jack stood over a map. Claire and Venlith stood beside him. Small lights marked places where battles had been fought. Too many lights. It's too many lives lost. "We need to take back the outpost at the valley edge," Jack said. "If they hold it, they can strike the towns behind us." "Our forces are small," Venlith said. "We have young ones, farmers, and a few old soldiers." "We don't need many," Claire replied. "We just need them ready." Jack pointed at the map. "We hit at night, silent and fast. We break their hold and set traps. They won't take it again." Venlith nodded. "I will gather who I can." Hours later, under a dark sky, the group moved. Jack led from the front. Claire and Maria stayed at the sides. Cal watched their backs. Sina, the young cadet, marched beside Danny. "You sure you're ready for this?" Danny asked. Sina nodded. "You taught me well. Now I fight." The outpost sat on a hill, broken and dark. Swarm scouts crawled along the walls. They were not ready for what was coming. Jack raised his hand. The team stopped. Then, without a word, they moved. Maria took the east wall, Claire the west. Cal dropped small bombs along the path. Danny slipped into the center and set charges under the main tower. One scout saw Claire and rushed forward. She dropped it with one shot. The sound echoed, and the swarm woke. "A go," Jack shouted. Explosions lit the night. Fire rolled down the hill. Humans and Tulari moved as one. Blades, guns, and fire met claws and teeth. Cena faced her first swarm fighter. Her hands shook. The creature roared. She aimed and fired. It dropped. "Good shot," Danny shouted. Claire moved through the center, covering the team. Jack took the tower, cutting through the last guards. "Place the beacon," he said. Cal ran up and dropped a small device on the roof. It blinked green. "Signal's live. It's ours now," Cal said. By dawn, the outpost was clear. Smoke rose. But the flag of the Tulari flew once more. Vinlith arrived with more fighters. He saw the humans standing over the battlefield, calm and ready. "How many did we lose?" he asked. Jack looked at the names on his pad. 5 Tulari, no humans. "They died free," Vinlith said. "They died strong." Back at the base, news of the win spread fast. The Tulari people began to believe. In the streets, they spoke of the Deathworlders, not with fear, but with hope. A child asked her father, "Will they stay? Will they keep us safe?" The father answered, "They came from the shadows. They fight with fire. They will not leave us." The council held a meeting. Counselor Veli stood before the group. "We must fight beside them," she said. "No more waiting. No more fear." "What if they leave?" asked another. "We fight alone," she replied. "But today we fight with them." Meanwhile, in a deep chamber far from the cities, an old Tulari priest opened a book. He showed a page to Venlith. "Many years ago," the priest said, "our people spoke of warriors from the stars. They would come when the sky burned red. They would bring fear and fire, but they would also bring hope." Venlith looked at the image. The drawing showed tall figures with dark armor standing in flames. "It looks like them," Venlith said. "Like Jack. Like Claire." Then maybe the old words were true. That night, Jack stood outside the outpost. Claire joined him. "They believe in us now," she said. Jack nodded. "Belief is good, but we need them ready. The Queen will strike soon. And next time, it will be worse." Far beyond the stars, the Karnath Queen moved through her nest. Her wings spread. Her eyes burned. Her voice reached every corner of the hive. "They bleed us," she said. "They burn our homes. Now we rise. Now we end them." And in the dark, a new swarm began to grow. Bigger, stronger, faster. The final storm was coming. The sky turned black before the sun had set. Heavy clouds rolled in fast. Lightning flashed across the sky. The air was thick. Something was coming. Jack stood at the edge of the outpost wall. He could feel it in his bones. This was not like before. Damn. This was the final wave. "Everyone ready," he said into his comm. "This is it." Inside the outpost, humans and Tulari stood side by side, weapons ready. Traps in place. Young, the old, the weak, they had all been moved to the mountains. Only fighters remained. Claire checked her rifle. She looked at Senna, who stood with a group of Tulari cadets. "You remember what I told you?" Claire asked. Senna nodded. "Move fast. Aim low. Strike first. Good. Stay close." Danny and Maria were near the ridge, ready to set off the fire lines. Cal was inside the control tower, watching the sensors. "They're moving," Cal said. "Too many to count. It's the whole swarm." Jack took a deep breath. "Hold the line." The ground began to shake. The sound was like thunder, but it came from below. Then the Karnath swarm appeared. Thousands of them, eyes glowing, mouths open, claws raised. At the center, taller than the rest, was the Queen. Jack narrowed his eyes. "There she is." Claire spoke fast. "I go for the Queen. You hold them here. You can't go alone." "I won't. Cinna with me." Cinna ran forward. Her hands were steady. Her face was set. "Ready," she said. Jack gave one nod. "Go. We buy you time." The battle began. Flames rose from the traps. Mines exploded. The swarm hit the wall. The sky turned red with fire and smoke. Jack fired without stopping. Danny ran from post to post, tossing charges. Maria covered him with clean, sharp shots. Tulari fighters moved with the humans. They were no longer afraid, fought with fire in their hearts. Claire and Cena moved through the chaos, ducked under claws, jumped over broken stone, and ran toward the Queen. The Queen screamed. Her voice made the ground shake. Her guards ran to stop them. Senna threw a small bomb and opened a path. Claire charged through. The queen swung her arm, knocking Claire to the side. Suna stood between the queen and Claire. She raised her weapon. The queen charged. Claire got up and pulled her blade. She jumped and drove it into the queen's side. Black blood poured out. The queen screamed again. Senna fired. The shot hit the queen's eye. The creature fell back, shaking the ground. Jack saw the queen fall. He shouted, "They did it. Push forward. Break them." Humans and Tulari rushed out from the wall. They struck the swarm from all sides. Without their queen, the creatures were lost. They tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. By dawn, the swarm was gone. The field was quiet. Smoke still rose, but no more enemies came. The sun rose over the hills. The sky was blue again. Jack sat on the steps of the tower, blood on his face, but a small smile. Claire walked up with Senna beside her. Both were tired, but alive. "We did it," Claire said. "You did more than that," Jack replied. Venlith and the council arrived later. They walked through the battlefield. The tulari bowed to the humans. Counselor Vayli said, "You came from the shadows. You brought fire and fear. But you also brought hope. We will never forget." Jack stood. "Just remember to stay ready. There are more threats out there. You need to stand on your own now." Venlith stepped forward. "We will, but you will always have a place here." The silent storm rose into the sky one last time. The humans did not speak much. They looked out the windows, watching the planet grow smaller. "What now?" Maria asked. Jack looked ahead. "We wait for the next call. Someone will need us, and we will answer." As they flew into the stars, the Tulari people lit fires across their world. Not for war, not for fear, but for honor. They remembered the ones who came from the shadows and stood between them and the end.